Nobody wants to think about natural disaster, whether you're traveling for a vacation, working remotely, or you're just doing like we're doing, and we're kind of doing a little bit of both. But unfortunately, this is the reality of what we're dealing with right now.
Right, right. And it could happen anytime.
Absolutely. And the more you vacation, that's something you need to think about, because the more you travel away from your home, the higher the likelihood that something's going to happen, whether it's to you personally or something to the area that you just can't control.
Whether that's natural disaster or some man-made or something that man created or
Exactly. So we're actually doing a house sit here in California. We're at Big Bear Lake. This is an amazingly beautiful place, and we're really enjoying it. But the timing of us coming wasn't probably the best. We actually came up here for my Aunt Carol's 80th birthday, so we were looking for a house sit nearby and a place that we could really enjoy. And I'd never been to the mountains before or stayed anywhere like this. And
yeah, it's been a while for me. It's been a long time for me.
so what we planned, unfortunately, coincided with, I can't even say it's a natural disaster because there wasn't anything natural about it. Come to find out, it was arson, but it is a disaster that's going on in the area. So we are in San Bernardino County in California, and they are dealing with line fires. Now, this has been going on since September 5th. And unfortunately, it has burned over 43,000 acres since September 5th. And we nearly didn't come because of this, right?
Yeah, we almost had to cancel and reschedule or something just because of the natural disaster.
We didn't know what was going on. The people that own this beautiful house that we're staying at, they didn't know if they were going to go. They did have a mandatory evacuation for several days up here that they had to deal with, and we were staying in contact with them while it was going on. But then it calmed down. So we thought, okay, let's go ahead and still go out. They were still dealing with the fires, but they had it 80% contained at the time. And so we thought that we were going to be good. So we came out here on September 27th. So it had already been going on for 22 days at that point with the fires. And this area that we were at was still good, and everything seemed calm. Now, there's a couple different major roads up the mountain to get where we're at. One is 38 and one is 18.
Right.
And so we went ahead and came up on September 27th. So everything was fine. We came up on a Friday. The drive was a little scary for us. I drive. He gets to just sit and be my co-pilot. And so driving up the mountain was very different. We're from Houston, and we live in the Houston area. And even though
a little flat.
It is. It's really flat in Houston. In the Houston area, you don't even really get any kind of hills going on until you get to San Antonio or Austin. So it's very flat. And so driving up the mountain was pretty scary. There was a few moments that my vertigo was really kind of throwing me off. And fortunately, he got some pretty good filming of it. And so you can see, as I put it in right here, that it was. But I got kind of used to it. We went up the mountain a few times, went up and down, and then it got kind of fun. But then Sunday happened, right? So Sunday, as I was coming up, Troy actually stayed here at the house to get some work done. And as I was coming up from seeing my Aunt Carol, who lives down in the valley, it was kind of terrifying because I got over halfway up, and had to turn around because the road was closed. The fire had kicked back up again, and it was all over the news, and there were several things on YouTube about the locals that were watching the fire. And it didn't just kick up a little bit, it kicked up a lot.
Yeah, and it doesn't help also that cell service out here is spotty, to say the least.
Oh yeah, in this house we have no cell service. We have only Wi-Fi, no cell, no nothing. And so I had to turn around, drive back down the mountain, call him up, tell him what was going on, drive down the freeway to the other major road, 18, that I had not driven on yet to this point.
And didn't know whether it was really open or not.
Didn't know if 18 was going to be open. Drove up, and of course I'm talking to him the whole time that I did have some self-service as I was coming up. And yeah, it was a little scary because, first of all, like I said, I was on a road that I hadn't been on before. I was by myself. I was, taking these turns and doing all this stuff that was a little intimidating.
A new road.
New road. And then I'm getting closer to the smoke. The plume is, not only is it getting bigger because the fire is raging in this area, but then it's getting bigger because I'm getting closer to it, which was that was a little terrifying. So by the time I got up here, I was able to make it. But we were then under an evacuation warning where we were at
and let's
here.
say that hour and 15-minute normal ride was over 3 hours.
Yeah,
for
it
to
took me
get back.
3 hours to get home. It was scary. So then the evacuation warning now getting reimposed for this area, warning, not mandatory, but we're sitting here at a house that we're just starting to get familiar with. We'd only been here a few days. And fortunately, the neighbors next door were good friends of our owners, and they were all talking, and we were all talking and kind of keeping it up to date on everything. And we figured when they left, we were going to leave because if our neighbors that live here that are used to this were going to leave, that was going to be the time that we were definitely going to leave.
And all this occurring as we're watching smoke over the
distance
horizon here.
and
Not too far. It doesn't seem like it's too far away from us. So
it was
interesting.
And it was getting a little hard to breathe too because we weren't used to the altitude. That's something else. Whenever you travel,
over 6,000, like 6,500 square feet?
over 6,000, 6,700 or something.
Mm-hmm.
So whenever you travel and you're going to different climates, and it's not just temperature-wise, but altitude-wise, you start traveling outside of your comfort zone. Your body, even if you're in pretty decent shape, and we're not horrible shape for our age, it does kind of take a toll. So our breathing was a little bit labored just because of the altitude, and then the smoke. Getting in there, oh my God, I have allergies, and my cough has been horrible during that time. So anyways, and then the other thing to think about is because we are doing a house sit, we have five cats we're taking care of here.
And they're everywhere.
They
keep seeing them all over the place.
They are. We have 3 downstairs and 2 upstairs because apparently they think they're living in separate houses. And we're taking care of them. And it has been a great experience.
Yeah,
the house
great
is beautiful.
Cats. Great cats.
The cats are cool. The location of Big Bear Lake has been amazing. But the thought of not only evacuating ourselves and then going, okay, where do we go from there? But evacuating 5 cats. And one of them is pretty feral, and so that would have been very difficult to, unfortunately, and traumatizing for the cat to try to force it into the carrier.
And it all got pretty. Yeah, we were
pretty close.
Yeah, pretty close to having to go
for
quite a bit of time there.
Yeah, so it's just it was definitely an experience, and we said all this to say you don't know what's going to happen wherever you travel, and the more and more that we travel, our plans for full-time travel at some point. These are things that we have to get prepared for. You may have to turn on a dime.
Yeah, pivot.
But yeah, it's just something that you're really going to have to think about. And so you have to tell yourself or ask yourself, is this something that we could handle?
Right.
You know, or are you vacationers where whenever you travel, you want more of a plan, you want other people to be in control to where if something happens, they make those decisions for you.
And when you're traveling, it's like life. Stuff's going to happen that you didn't kind of foresee coming. It's going to happen. It's just part of the way it works. So just be prepared to have to make those pivots or those changes on the fly sometimes.
Now, fortunately, it did calm down. It was about 2 solid days of rough watching the plume and the smoke. And then by, I think about
Not
Tuesday.
to mention all the helicopters that are flying right into this bay and getting water out of the bay and flying into
That
the
was
water.
So. Yeah, they had the helicopters coming in with these long tubes hanging down, and they literally were coming over to our lake.
Like one
and
right
in the
after
bay.
the next, after the next, after the next.
And then they had
big
big
planes.
planes.
Right, 3 big planes that are dumping the water and whatever the stuff that they put on it. I don't know what it's called, but to help fight the flames.
and the thing is that it was really fascinating, but like I said, it was scary at the same time. But hats off to all the firefighters, to all the first responders, to everybody. And whenever I came up the mountain on the side, I drove past this place called Snow Valley, which it looks like it's something set up normally for the skiing whenever that happens. But that was their drop zone of everybody staying there. They had tents, they had vans, they had all kinds of stuff. You could definitely tell that was their hub, the ground zero, whatever where they were handling everything. So this whole thing has been really interesting. It's been fascinating, and we're fortunate that it got all cleared up. The fire is still going on in the areas. The original road that we did go up and down, 38, is still blocked. So we're going to go down and see my aunt again today. And we're going to have to go back down that 18. And whenever we leave on Monday, we're probably going to have to go down 18. But yeah, it's just, you just got to be prepared for these kind of things to happen. And this has been our first real experience of that. We haven't really had anything like that come up.
No,
Did we?
nothing
No.
quite like this. Nothing with a natural disaster. We've had some lunatics and some crazy people a few times, but nothing like this.
You know, or like people complain, oh, my flight got delayed.
Yeah, okay.
Well, when?
Yeah.
Whenever you go from, oh, my flight got delayed and I had to sit in an airport for an extra 2 hours, to the fires are raging over the mountaintop here and they might be coming this way,
Right.
and we might have to evacuate. That's just a whole nother level. And
Right.
that also goes to, I'm not going to talk about it a lot now, but travel insurance.
Right.
Because with this trusted house sitters app that we met these people on, we do have house insurance. Let me try that again. We do
Travel
have
insurance,
travel
right.
insurance with that app, but it only covers us whenever we have these kind of things that we've set up through the app. It does not cover the rest of our travel, so we do have travel insurance that we pay for as a yearly basis, not as a trip-by-trip basis,
Right.
because with the amount that we're traveling, we want to make sure that we have coverage, because
Yeah,
it
it
just
doesn't
gets
take
really
a lot. When you're dealing with planes, hotels, cruise ships, so many different things. Can one little hiccup or one step along the way can get messed up and ruin the whole trip. Can
Right.
get it canceled for you.
And I was never a person to get travel
Right.
insurance before. Whenever
Right.
I would just go with my dad, or Troy and I would just drive down. We'd fly down to Mexico. We never got travel
Right.
insurance for that, because we're like, we don't need that.
Right.
But now, yeah,
Blanket, yeah,
we
annual.
definitely get the annual policy. So if you travel a lot, it's something to consider. So that's it. So this is just a little cautionary tale. Fortunately, it's worked
Yeah,
out.
it's worked out pretty good for us.
The
actually.
air is clear
Right.
again. It's really nice. We actually got out on the kayak yesterday and got out on the water.
Yeah,
and
we're
that was
able
nice.
actually overlooking this incredible view that it's so much
it's-
happening out there that it's just gorgeous.
It is beautiful. We tried to actually film this video the reverse way, so you didn't see the house, but you actually saw the lake behind these huge windows that we're actually looking out right now. But unfortunately, all the light coming in from the windows made us like dark. You could even see us in the video. So we had to turn the camera around. So anyways, that's it. You know, if you like our content, we'd really appreciate it if you would subscribe to our channel. We are still growing it. If you like this video, give that a thumbs up. We
Right.
really appreciate it. It helps with the algorithm. We are going to be doing some more things. We've got another cruise coming up. We've got just all kinds of different travel going on. And we just want to encourage you to live your best life.
Right.
And just realize you're never too anything. That's the whole thing
Right.
about our channel. Never too blank. Fill in your own blank. You're never too old. You're never too young.
And you'll never get the day over.
No. The time is coming for all of us whenever we're not going to be on this planet. And you have to decide how you want to live your life. So live it the way you want to live it. And that's absolutely what we are doing. So anyways, until next time, thanks so much.
Those.
Bye.